bring you warm greetings from West Africa, Sierra Leone. I see you don't have Lion Mountains, but I wonder how you got the name Lake Victoria in the middle of Africa. I still have to do my research. But I want to say that I'm particularly pleased to be in this great country, Your Excellency, and I want to seize this opportunity to register our profound and sincere gratitude to you, President Museveni, the government and the people of this great country. When I got the invitation, it was one that I was expecting, and I took the opportunity immediately to accept that I will be here. On behalf of my delegation, I want to register our gratitude again for the warm African reception that we have received. And I look forward to coming back here as many times as possible. In Africa, we are talking about the African Continental Free Trade Area, which means we want to get rid of the distances and do more investment within the continent and trade, and to allow our people to move more freely within the continent. For so long, our continent has been used as the bread basket for other continents and people. In the fourth industrial revolution that is coming, I want us to be smart so that we will not be at the receiving end of this great movement. So we Africans have to be smart and try to share in the benefit of what lies ahead of us. So we are here to learn from your leadership and this great country, the many strides you've made to bring about development to this country. We know Uganda has had a difficult past, but how you have been able, with the great people, to move the country to where it is today, I cannot say it's a miracle, but it's one that we admire and we want to learn from you people. Know that you have done a great lot to bring peace and tranquility, which is the ecosystem needed for development. And indeed, you have registered development in this country. We have had a similar past. We shared the same colonial master. We have been at war with ourselves. We have faced corruption, unbridled corruption. We have been hit by Ebola like you. We've had a terrible past, all of which has impacted the trajectory of development in Sierra Leone. But today, Uganda is a better place. Thanks be to your leadership and the people of this country who have supported you. So we want to learn from all of these, from those that are in critical positions, the decisions you've made, and how we also can take a page from you. From Ebola a few years ago, our economy was completely ruined. From the war, we almost lost the state. It completely collapsed. But because of our resilience and determination, today Sierra Leone is a peaceful democracy. As a government, we are barely a year old. We have had to face the difficult task of telling the world that Sierra Leone is no longer at war, that there is no more Ebola in Sierra Leone, and to try to shed that ugly image of being one of the most corrupt countries, whether the war is over, whether Ebola is still there or not. So for me, that reputational damage, which took a toll on our country, is one thing that I have been personally trying to fight. And without the necessary wherewithal, I could not hire a PR company to do this. So I have had to do it myself. So with my team, we have gone around the world to tell them that Sierra Leone is a peaceful democracy and that we are creating the authoritative environment that is inviting. And in Uganda too, I want to invite investors who have had a pleasant experience here to come and look at our own investment climate and see what investments we can do. Of course, as President Museveni has said, we have a lot of natural resources which we still need to tap into. We still have agriculture that we need to do more seriously. And I'm sure that there are investors here in this country who can actually help us. We are very happy, Your Excellency, the government and people of Uganda, to be here today. And I'm going to be here for the next few days. And I'm going to go around and talk to as many people as possible to learn from these experiences. On behalf of my delegation, I extend to you, Your Excellency, the government and people of this country, our profound gratitude, not only for the warm welcome that we have received, but also the hospitality accorded me and my delegation. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, sir.
His Excellency Brigadier Bio, retired, and President of Sierra Leone, and your distinguished delegation, the ministers of Uganda and the officials. I hope you are all informed that Sierra Leone means a mountain which looks like a lion. I assume that ignorance is not around. It was so named by the Portuguese when they were trying to go around Africa. I think they got there in 1460 or 70. When they got there, 1470, the first one who got there. When he saw that mountain, it looked like a lion. So Sierra in Spanish means a mountain. Lion, Leone is the lion. So these people are lion people. Your Excellency, you're most welcome. I have not been to Sierra Leone, but recently I was in Guinea-Conakry. And they are great people, those people in West Africa. So I'm very happy and I congratulate His Excellency for being elected. And for having been in the army, which faced a lot of problems, but eventually, with the assistance of friends, was able to restore stability in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is now stable and developing. We also should congratulate our Sierra Leone brothers and sisters on overcoming Ebola, because Ebola was a big problem there. Here we had some previous experience of dealing with Ebola, but in West Africa they didn't have. But they managed to overcome it, and we congratulate them. Our discussion is centered on point number one is the long term. The long term, I think in the delegation, the joint committees which are going to meet, you have to discuss how to link West Africa with East Africa, infrastructure-wise. However, when I rode recently on the train from Mombasa in Kenya to Nairobi, we were discussing the issue of the railway from here through Congo up to the ocean, I think in Brazzaville, around Brazzaville, Point Noir, somewhere near on the Atlantic. That sort of railway would be like the Panama Canal. You remember North America and South America, they're very long. And those people being business-minded, they saw that going around the southern tip of America, which they call Terra del Fuego, the land of the mist. You should learn some more Spanish. Will be very long and costly. So that's how they made the Panama Canal, which cuts North and South America. And therefore you can go from the Caribbean Sea to the Pacific, just like that. So this railway, the concept is the same. A cheap transport way across the belt of Africa, which links the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic. And then you continue by water to West Africa. So this is something that we shall have to discuss more with the Congo, with Brazzaville, and with West Africa. And the reason I encourage this is that there are a lot of resources here in East Africa, and a lot of human beings here, because Uganda will be 100 million people in 2050. So you'll have a lot of human beings on this side with the resources. But then you also have a lot of human beings on that side, Nigeria, mainly Nigeria, and then the other countries, Guinea, Conakry, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, but also with a lot of natural resources. Here we are happy. Very soon we shall open a steel industry using the iron ore deposits in Tororo, in Suku. And we are happy because we shall no longer import steel, because we need a lot of steel now that we have woken up from sleep. You know, when people are sleeping, they don't have any problem. When you are asleep, you don't worry because you don't know what's happening. It is when you wake up, then you start getting worried. What is that one knocking here? What is that one? So these people have woken up here by building more dams. We're building more dams of electricity. So when you build more dams of electricity, then you find you need a lot of cement, you need a lot of steel. But where is the steel? Oh, the steel is in China. There's no steel here. So what do? We go to China now. Long distance. When you buy steel from China, you actually don't buy steel. Much of it is air. Because they have got what they call CIF. Cost, insurance, and freight. Now, of the three words, two are air, only one is real. The cost of the steel, where you bought it from, the amount you paid for the steel. But the rest, insurance. Imagine insurance. Because it is coming from China, you must insure it. When it is moving, you are insuring. And you pay, the sleeper, the one who is asleep. You pay for the insurance. The freight, the transport, you pay. So out of three, only one is actually of value to you. The rest is you're just giving the money to other people. So that's how we are happy to have this steel industry here. We shall no longer pay insurance. We shall no longer pay freight. But even the cost will be less because we are using our own cheap labor to produce the steel. When you buy steel made in China, made in India, you pay also for the high cost of labor of those places. So we are happy we are having this steel industry. But when you look at our iron ore reserves, there are only 300 million tons, what we have discovered so far. That's not bad. If we are consuming 1 million tons per year, that will take you people, when I will no longer be around, I will be in heaven by that time. It will take you 300 years if you consume 1 million per year. But in Sierra Leone, in Guinea-Conakry, in Liberia, I don't know the reserves in Sierra Leone, but I know the ones in Liberia. 4 billion tons of iron ore. Here we are talking of 300 million and we are very happy. But in Liberia, you are talking of 4 billion tons. So you can see, you Africans, when your population goes up to 2.5 billion, by 2050 I will still be around, I think I will. You will need a lot of steel to build houses. They have a lot of bauxite for aluminium in West Africa. They have diamonds. I don't use diamonds so much, so I'm not worried. I think those are for the daughters who want necklaces. But iron and bauxite and other minerals, including gold, there are plenty there. So this route will really be very, very crucial. So that's one point this committee we are talking about should look at. Then we also talked about capacity building, like training together. At one time, some officer cadets had come from Sierra Leone and had been here. I think they were trained, like 10 of them, during the time of the foreign minister, who was a lady. I'm glad there's another lady now. But that time when there was a foreign minister, I think the some were trained, so we can share those experiences. So these two, the capacity building, especially for security, and the plan for the infrastructure of the stomach, because they really touch our lives, security and economy. But then there are other issues on which we are cooperating, the diplomatic. UN, I don't know what, is the chairman, and he has been leading us very well. Even his predecessor, His Excellency Koroma, was leading us very well. So I'm very happy His Excellency came. We have had a long talk, and we shall talk more. And I welcome him to come to Uganda and share their experience with us. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Give these people the wisdom. Thank you.